Awesome. Well, I want to welcome everybody to our elevation call. I guess this is the second call of the month, and we do this on the first and the third on our Team Unlimited YouTube channel. And I missed last time. Several of us were in transit coming back from our amazing Mexican vacation. And so I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about the shift I had in my mindset. Hey, Hal Henson.
Howdy.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Just being with people who are excited, kind of seeing this through new eyes, it just reminded me of 6+ years ago. This has been really an evolving journey. And this really became part of a mission for me due to, many of you guys know, the product results in my son, Nate, and just life-changing for us after the misery of pharmaceutical mismanagement, multiple medications, and you guys know that story, but we quickly saw financial success. I had 13 years invested in another business in the same industry, but it was the financial success that was very similar to the 4 months that Bo laid out in our 3 in 30 program that you guys have hopefully seen by now. And this is really how we started, and we ramped up and never looked back. But it was the gold kits that really, the way that people came in the business. And then, as you guys remember, many of you guys have been here long enough, the pandemic really affected our ability to do business as usual, a belly-to-belly business. We had to adapt to Zoom, and our business really changed a lot from local meetings to kind of national and even international with the Todds, with that Zoom emphasis. And yet we saw in transparency character defects in our CEO during the pandemic that unnerved us and really made us back off the business. And as we worked to try to remedy that situation.
Can I say something?
Absolutely, please.
The other thing that happened during that time, and I don't even remember what it was called, that $49.
Yeah.
What was the $49 deal?
I just remember it was an enrollment option.
Well, so yeah, probably 6 months into full-blown pandemic transition to Zoom meetings, Stephen really opened up what we thought would really be a great thing as far as getting people on products, which they needed to. And the reason that they did it, from what he said, and I believe him, was that we felt like that we had products that could help people through COVID, not so much protect them from it, but come through it better. And I do believe that that is true of any illness. But the point is that we took a shift away during that time, away from not only person to person presentations, sitting down, really having business discussions, to let's get as many people on product as we can. Because one, people are afraid about their money during the pandemic. People weren't seeing each other during the pandemic. They were focused on their health. They were living in fear. And we had a good year of fear. I mean, at least. And so the company shifted to the $49, I forget what it was called, but it was basically a $49 enrollment.
Yeah.
And I don't think there was product with it. Maybe a mini. I don't recall.
I think it was a
but
mini.
It got people the opportunity to get on our products to help them through COVID. Well, a year of that, and what happened is we shifted away almost entirely from a focus on what was very, very successful. And then we have tried to kind of gradually bring that back until we realized there is no gradually bringing that back. This is a business first. And but what happened for the last 3 years is we made it a product presentation first.
Right.
Anyway.
So just in kind of setting this up, we have a corporate team in place now with an enhanced compensation plan that is way better than anything we'd seen in the past. And with Bo and Luis's guidance, we have a stable partnership, which we now have a slide for that, which I think is a great illustration for what this is.
It's a great slide. If you hadn't seen it, it's great.
But the world has changed since 2019. And Hal said to me a quote this morning that I wrote down, and setting up what I want to share with you guys. Here's the quote. When your financial pain is greater than your physical pain, you have to focus on a financial plan to make it better. And I want to show you where the world is today and how we have found a solution and a very significant benchmark that Hal and I have found. And so I'm going to screen share. I don't want y'all to go to sleep because I want your feedback on this. And it's not normal that we do a presentation for you guys on elevation calls. So just understand, this is something that
That Lisa has put together.
I've really been thinking about
She's
this
painstakingly put this
a long
together.
time. And so let me just talk about what's your plan B. A large part of the information from this is from a book by Courtney Epps and Robert McFadden called What's Your Plan
Pull it
B?
back up there so they can see
I
it.
showed you guys a little bit before we started this, but this is a really interesting book, and you can talk about all day long whether it's true or not, but it's very compelling. And so what I want to show you is some compelling information that really directed my decision to take a stab at direct selling years ago. And here's the info. This is based on 100 people surveyed at age 65. And this has been years ago. But at the time, you can see the pie chart, 54% of people were dependent on aid of some type. 36% were working, 5% didn't make it. They were not alive. 4% of 100 were okay, meaning they had $1 million in assets, and only 1% was considered wealthy or with $5 million in the bank. So when you add it all up, 95% of people were dead broke, or still working. And so we ask, that is financial pain. And here's from Courtney Epps' book. Here's some other stats. 46% of Americans didn't have an extra $400 prior to COVID. 69%, almost 3/4 of Americans didn't have an extra $1,000 prior to COVID. Almost half of US families headed by someone 55 and over have $0 in retirement savings. And internet commerce, robots, AI, and 3D printing will take about 800 million jobs in the next 12 years. And then according to the American Psychiatric Association, the number one cause of stress is a lack of money. So on the other side, we see that almost 3/4, a little bit over 3/4 of Americans are interested in flexible entrepreneurial income earning opportunities. And we know that health and wellness is a $4.5 trillion a year industry that Americans are spending about $155 a month on already. So the question is, how can we be not in the 95%? How do we take home more money so we do not end with the same misery as dead broke, or still working?
Dead broke.
Or still working at 65.
Or still working.
At 65. And so here's one option, and these are linear, meaning we're trading a chunk of time for a chunk of money. I never really understood the difference until I was introduced to this industry. So traditional job, take on another one to fill in the gaps. And you guys, many of you know the downside of that, limited by 24 hours in a day, 7 days a week, really to build someone else's dream. You know, adopt a side hustle, all the rage, Amazon shipping, DoorDash, Uber. There are expenses in that. We have friends, we have people that work in Zalis that do these things, and it is a grind. It is not easy.
We had fun on our grind last night, though. Your little side hustle.
Oh, we're talking about my line dance side hustle. And then obviously go back, get a degree, a trade. I went back during the pandemic and got a holistic nurse coaching certification. That's where I met Marcia Smith. It was $5,000 and it got me $0. I had to go and do all the work myself. So no
18
residuals.
months of training?
18 months of training.
Is that right?
No, it was, I think, 9 months. 9 months of training. Hal knows all about becoming a realtor. Was there an expense in that?
Huge expense, plus a monthly expense of a couple of $1,000.
And then once you made a sale, you got to go make another one.
Always, usually on the weekends. I usually had to work the weekends.
So that's linear. And then if you look at residual, buy a franchise, you got to have a lot of assets for that, 100,000 to $1 million. You've got overhead, employees, HR, payroll taxes, corporate taxes. You've bought yourself a job, even though there can be residual income in a franchise. Learning to sell insurance and financial services requires school, specialized training, and a lot of time. Or you can join the 6.2 million people who are in the direct selling industry, either full-time or part-time. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. So those are just some of the options for additional income. But when you think about tax basics, I did not know this, that there are really two tax systems in the US. The W-2 employee tax system for those who are salaried or working for someone else, and the
That have
business,
a job,
they have a job.
which stands for just over broke.
Hey, I mean, I mean, jobs are tough. That we love people with jobs because they can use auto ships, right? And then the business owner tax system. And here's where it gets really interesting based on Courtney Epps' book. She says she advocates for keeping more money by paying less in taxes. It makes sense. And she's an accountant and business owner with 19 plus years of experience. And her quote is, the W-2 employee tax system was created to steal wealth away from workers to fund the government. She says this system is designed to keep people broke, that employees will lose money and pay more due to their tax status. W-2 employees will pay more in their lifetime on taxes than food, clothing, housing, and transportation combined. People are going into debt to work due to the cost of living. Robert Kiyosaki, another very famous name, but he calls the W-2 tax a 50% tax and says that employees are left with half of their money. So the business owner tax system was created to provide wealth for business owners based on the belief that businesses create economy, and by spending money to grow and hire employees, businesses will ultimately pay more tax dollars. When you own a business, you can capture a 40% return on your money. And so then we go into another reference, and this is many of you guys have heard reference to Robert Kiyosaki. He's known for his book Rich Dad Poor Dad, but he advocates for financial independence through investing, real estate, business skills, and he has done a lot of advocating for network marketing businesses. So the 2 points that I wanted to kind of share is his feelings that jobs are not security. Although they create regular income, we've seen during the pandemic, it's not enough to protect from unforeseen expenses and inflation. He encourages people to avoid thinking like an employee. The employees are rewarded for conformity, and that creates passive, unengaged workers who let others make decisions. And some of you guys might have found that out by even working with employees with an employee mindset. But he also says wealth does not create equal to money, but time. And time freedom is a form of wealth because it allows a person to live life on their own terms. And it gives spare time to pursue their own interest. He advocates learning new skills toward business projects and investing in self to build something that will last. He recommends the business model called network marketing or sphere of influence marketing as the best way to generate wealth in the modern world. And we ask why. Well, traditional jobs are no longer secure. People are looking for alternate sources of income. I believe now even more than before the pandemic. And he believes network marketing is the best way to build one's own business and achieve financial independence. So here's where I want to define what that means. And all you guys know this definition, but it's important. There's a lot of misconceptions. Some people feel like, network marketing is a Ponzi scheme, that it's somehow like a pyramid scheme, like it's not legal, but it is a very viable business model in the direct selling industry where companies distribute products through a network of independent contractors or distributors that are compensated for product sales and growing new team members. It's a very effective way to reach a large audience with minimal effort, leaving income in the hands of product users instead of large corporate distributors. And commissions can be a profitable way for an entrepreneur to build income. I already shared that there are 6.2 million people who are in the direct selling industry, full or part-time, and it's a $35.4 billion industry with over 36.6 million customers. And here's something that I found was really, really interesting. And I wonder if you guys would agree with me or not with me. This is actually Robert Kiyosaki's 8 wealth building assets in network marketing. And we're not going to dive deep, but just free business education. Everything it feels like I've learned from business has been in this industry, certainly not in nursing. Personal development, another thing, helps individuals grow and learn to be more successful through books, programs, mindset training. Every single person I can see on this call, I've seen you grow in personal development and business education, joining a network of people. We are a network of people with the same goals and values. Developing our own network, learning how to do that creates synergies, cost savings, assertiveness, scalable business. This is really, really big, that you can grow a business to meet demand without incurring prohibitive cost, developing leadership skills, creating a mechanism for wealth as a platform for creating a user base through duplication of a marketing plan. And then obviously having those big dreams and the ability to reach those dreams changes the world and gives us something to strive for. And Bo has done a great job of incorporating that. So what Zalise is, highest and best use, a plan for prosperity, is really combining a plan for health with business, tax savings, home-based business that Courtney Epps talked about, and an income model to escape the paycheck to paycheck grind. And we've kind of gone over this slide. We know business is changing, business is evolving, but here's the slide I reference, that what we are doing is we are empowering a partnership. Hal, do you mind talking about this slide?
I love this slide. Bo created it. We asked him a couple of months ago, can you do some kind of slide that helps us to visualize the partnership between what Zalise provides, what we as leaders in the field can provide, and what the new ambassador or new business partner provides. And so this is what he pulled from his past experience and branded it for us, tweaked it a little bit. But our brand partner is Zalise, who's brought us our products. They provide all the services to mail for shipping, for the manufacturing, the distribution, and they pay us. They're the ones who pay. Their role as a brand partner, Zalise is a brand, and that's what they provide for us. All right. Then we're going to jump over to the far right, the strategy. I can't see the screen.
Okay, let's see.
I think I know what it says, but I don't want to say it wrong.
Mentoring.
Well, just minimize the
I
group.
can't.
Oh,
I
you
don't
can't.
have a
Oh,
cursor.
okay. Anyway, so mentoring, a system, training, strategic goals, and then goal setting. So that's why we do elevation call. That's why we do three-way calls. That's why we work with many of you who want to build a business, for the strategy, for the goal setting, for the training and that sort of thing. Leaders who develop in the business, and I'll say this, that Lisa always talks about having 13 years in another business before this. She took the skills of those 13 years and plugged it in, took it away from one brand and took all those skills and plugged those skills into a new brand with new products, new service, new manufacturing, new distribution, new compensation plan. But then she also plugged into her mentors, her strategic partners, who helped her apply what she had learned in another business into the Zalise business and became very successful by duplicating the model financially. Here's what she brought, and here's what every business builder, new ambassador who's going to earn income, that's what we've been talking about tonight, has to bring, or you will not be successful. You have to bring focus. You have to bring significant ambition. You have to bring a willingness to learn and continue to learn. And you have to constantly be bringing your sphere of influence. If you live in Washington State, you're going to meet people in your sphere of influence that we will never meet unless we meet them through you. If you live in the state of Florida, you will bring that sphere of influence. So the role of the ambassador, the partnership, is between the brand, the strategic mentors, and you, who bring your desires, your goals, your willingness to learn, and your sphere of influence. Combine those all together, working together creates an empowered partnership that can be very successful and duplicatable.
And what I want you guys to know, and because you've been a really big part of this for me, for us, is that we had a very significant milestone in that we last Friday crossed the $890,000 in earning mark with Zalise. And
personal income,
just, over the 6+ years that we've been with Zalise. And I didn't even know it. We had like 169 pages to download from Excel of all the checks.
Lisa asked, he goes, I don't know what we've earned over these years, and I think we need to know. And so she requested that, how do you get that information? And they said, well, here's how you do it. And then 169 pages of line by line, adding up what we've been paid weekly, monthly, quarterly over the years with the bonuses. This does not include retail, but this is what we have like directly from Zalise and paychecks was how much?
$890,000. Yeah.
Almost $1 million.
And so, and I don't say that at all, as I'm very humbled by it. I mean, I feel like God has given us a gift, but I'm just saying, in this day and age where financial pain is at an all-time high, let us help you tap into this. And the way we do that is introducing to people this Zalise business with health benefits. You guys all know what this is. You know this. But here's the concept. It's back to the transfer buy. By investing 100 BV a month in your health and your business, your home-based business, it's around 100 to 150 bucks a month, instead of spending it elsewhere, retail, that you can empower your body and you can actually develop a platform that will pay you an income.
And I want to pause here because Lisa and I were on a walk. We walked the block today, and we were talking about tonight's call, and this is what we were going to talk about. And I said, Lisa, you know, are we going to share that number, that $890,000? You know, and I don't even think, does that include mine separate from yours?
No.
So anyway, but that doesn't matter. But I said, Lisa, what do you think from your starting point? And I want y'all to get this. If you wrote down that number, $890,000, that's 4 zeros. I asked her, I said, how much do you think we've made on top of that in retail? So buying at wholesale, selling retail, just to get people on product. And the rest, the 890 is around, you know, team building. It's strategic partnership, being mentored and mentoring others. So what do you think? Write the number down, what you think we've done in retail for yourself. And write that down. And we don't know for sure because we don't track it. And we don't want to take the time to track it, but we're estimating somewhere around what,
10 grand.
I'm saying
10 to 20.
$10 to $20,000. Yeah. So when you think about really what this business, the money in this business is not in retail selling products to friends and the family. It's not about that at all for us. It's about the money that we have made and the money that the business model is not retail. Though people who just do retail, that's their thing, and that's what they do. But Lisa and I, especially Lisa, have done this not through retail sales at all. When you take that 20,000, and I'm saying it's probably 20, she thinks 10, but somewhere in between there, it doesn't matter. Compared to the other number, is like that that should be a wake-up call. That the money in this business is building people who want to earn significant income. And we're not talking $1 million necessarily, but we're talking about seeing it as a business. So
this is kind of where we are now. To get rewarded with that 1099 income, we're recommending that people start with a business kit now versus just, you know, the $99 customer. And Bo's model is really the highest return is from the $999 gold kit. And you guys have seen Bo do it. Nobody's better at Bo at this than Bo, where the earnings by sponsoring 3 golds in your first month, staying with 100 BV and auto ship, you earn $1,500 in month 1. Therefore, how much did your kit cost? You know, it's not even relevant because you've already paid it off. And then in month 2, doing the same model, $2,400 in earnings. And then in month 3, it's about $4,000 in earnings. And then in month 4, you are at $12,000. And this is very similar to my income progression throughout the very first 4 months of my business. And so I'm telling you guys that starting to create this as a duplication model, is it tougher to find somebody that's willing to invest $999? Absolutely, you know, but you're not limited to that either. And then of course, you know, we've seen Bo's slides, but here's where I just kind of want you to understand what you have access to. You already know all this. And so you have been able to position yourself for all the perks already. And that is, you know, you've learned business and success skills for free. Some of you are, you know, just beginning that journey, and it's a beautiful, beautiful journey. You know, we have this pay it forward company philosophy that infuses all we do, creates this culture of generosity that we love so much. We have life-changing products with entire tools built to help explain those to people, so we don't have to spend time doing that right now. And then personal growth and development that really helps you become your best you, and really finding a purpose that is greater than your problems. Because what we've been able to do with 890,000, it's, buy a home that we live in right now, and fund and begin a nonprofit that really has now, we've started almost on our second guest. It's a recovery home that we have funded through our Zalise earnings, and that is a feeling that's very hard to explain. But the financial opportunity and the low financial entry point, because if somebody says, hey, I can't afford gold, like there's nothing I can sell, then we go, hey, we have a plan for that. It's a silver kit, or it's a bronze kit. There's a low financial entry point and an easy transition into a business that can have a compounding effect over time. Ours has compounded and crashed. So we're on, just coming back again. We have seen the downside and we've seen the upside, but it's the ability to leverage not just your effort like we did when we had a W-2 job, like it's just us with all the heavy lifting. It's, what Marcia and I did as nurses. You guys all have those examples, but it's leveraging a team's effort, being able to learn how to acquire a customer and teach other people how to do the same thing. It's that each of us are in a different place. So there's geographic diversification by duplicating a very simple system instead of you doing all the heavy lifting. Working from anywhere with benefits on your own schedule. The tax savings, Courtney Up says 4 to 6 grand in tax savings, at least on average, with the clients that she's done in network marketing, that they have saved through their home-based business. Obviously, we know about the
That's
wealth
based
transfer.
upon them having W-2 wages where they got into their own business, right?
Right.
So they were employees, maybe two income home or one income home, but they were employees, and then started their own businesses. And she works with people who have all kinds of business, but that number of 4 to 6,000 on average in tax savings was for people who are typically W-2 wages and earners, and then they start their own business and direct selling business of all
But,
kinds.
her point was, even if you own a traditional business, there are still additional tax savings for home-based businesses, which I thought was really, really interesting.
Right.
But for us, the opportunity to build residual, that we're building something that continues to grow, that legacy of wealth, really to overcome what I remember as that paycheck to paycheck grind as a nurse. We are so grateful to our team. We're grateful for the tenacity and obviously for the blessing of knowing about this, but I want you guys to understand what you have in your grasp. Really, our side hustle of 6+ years really combines a health, a wellness, really, and a whole platform for personal health and tax savings and business ownerships with a scalable home-based business. And so that's not bad for a side gig. And I want you guys to know that, we have 90% of sickness and disease is caused by stress. So we can actually address health, wellness, stress protection, and finances with the same business project. And then just go ahead and take a little screenshot of what's your plan for prosperity for the next 30 years. These are just great questions to ask people when you have conversations with people. Get to know what they're looking for. And these are some things that can help us to find who really is open to a conversation about their own personal plan for prosperity and their willingness to hear about our home-based plan B. So I wanted to share that with you guys. I'd love to get your thoughts on it. And let me just stop share here. All right. Oh, Marcia, she's giving me a hand clap.
Thank you, Marcia. And
You guys do
Christina.
not have to do that, but I really want to know what any thoughts, anything that you would like to add to that.
Y'all are amazing.
Jenny,
oh my gosh.
I was hoping you would say that.
Well, we were just waiting when you come up with that, Jenny.
Y'all are amazing. And I tell you, I learned so much, and I want to copy this. I want to listen to it and listen to it. I just thank you all for all your energy and effort. I'm so blessed to be on your team. Thank you so much.
Jenny
Thank you,
Todd,
Jenny.
thank you so much for that. And you guys, this is honest, like I'm being very honest with
Yeah,
you guys.
very transparent tonight, very transparent. Those are not things that we, just because we discovered what that number was, we were like, oh, let's go tell everybody. It's hard for us to share those things. Those are very private matters, but we wanted to share it with you because we
are your strategic
when
partner.
you look at it, you go, oh my gosh, that's almost $1 million in this side gig that really started with Lisa's, with Nate in Indiana
on
and
Ash
showing up here on
Wednesday.
these Sunday nights, doing these calls. And I mean, hey, how many, so like last night, Lisa, I got 2 different people's names and numbers in my phone to follow up with. And I know you got a couple because Lisa taught line dancing to the Lincoln population 2,300, Lincoln, city of Lincoln riding clubs, first fundraiser they've done in years. And so it was Lisa teaching line dancing, a music guy. They had hamburgers and hot dogs. Place was packed. You sat on hay bales around the room. And so that's part of doing the business when you have a business. You just go out and do that. So
anyway, any other comments, questions, thoughts? Because that slide about what we all bring to the party, I want y'all to use us. I know that, Marsha and I have had some really honest conversations. She's like, Lisa, I haven't made that kind of money. So how can I even talk about the business? And that's super, super honest. So that's why you bring us in. You can still, and absolutely we'll share this PowerPoint if you like it. It's kind of low budget, but yes, Lorena. You're muted, girl.
Oh, so yeah, no, I want the PowerPoint.
thank you.
Is it helpful to you guys to understand the financial pain that people are experiencing right now?
It does.
Yes.
And I think it'll help people realize too, how much stress and strain, is going on in the world, especially, with what you were just talking, showing people, that how they can earn a second income.
And here's the other thing, Lorena, let me just throw this in. I didn't talk about this much in the PowerPoint, but when we talk about transfer buying, having people understand the importance of auto ship can save you a lot of grief.
Right.
Marsha and I had a conversation today. I mean, it sometimes feels like dental tooth extraction to get people to commit to auto ship. So if you have that business conversation, say, look, the average person spending $155 a month, why not spend that in a business that you own, that you get home-based business tax exemptions from? It flips the script, if you will. And my challenge to myself is that I am not having product conversations anymore. I've spent 7 years.
We're
doing
worn
that.
out with
I'm
them.
absolutely tired of it, Susan Everett. And like, if somebody says, "Ooh, CBD and CBG," I'm feeling a little off from that. Like, there's much more important things in the world to spend your time, energy, and effort on. And so I want you guys, back when we started Elevation Calls, 6+ years ago, it was so that you guys did not make the mistakes I made.
In what?
In everything.
In everything.
And so not so much life, but definitely business.
But we're fighting our way back. I will tell you that I will just be honest. I pushed against Bo's, do 3 and 1 golds. I pushed against that with him. He didn't like it because to me, when he first started coming out with it, I was like, Bo, what about this progression from product taker to sharer to getting comfortable and that sort of thing, which, hey, we believe in that, okay? Because that's where some people are going to be. They're going to be stuck there. I'm going to be honest with you. They're not going to change. They're not going to change. And if you're one of those, we love you. You're welcome to our elevation calls. When we talk about this, you're not offended because you know what the bigger picture is for all of us and that there are people that we need to address the business side too, okay? But if we stay with you and don't, I say you are the people who are the VIP customers, the product takers, the ones who want to dive deep into the weeds of what every product does, what it can do for this or that or this or that, we never get to build business. And so I pushed back against that with Bo. And he basically came back with me and said, look, did you get in this because it was a business for you to make money, or did you get in it because you wanted to share? And I said, I got into it because I needed to make money. I couldn't afford these products. That's why I built it as a business. I loved the product, but the only way that I could afford it was that I built this business to pay for itself and beyond. And then I wanted other people to be able to do the same thing. So we pushed back on that, and now we're kind of waking up. So of course, as your leaders, it's okay that we're waking up maybe before some of you are, and we don't expect you to jump on board with this immediately. But like we were talking today, and it's what caused me to just say that kind of out of the blue about, look, if you can't, if you have health issues or pain issues, and you say, I do have all these health issues, but I can't afford to pay for products that could truly help me with that, then you actually have a bigger financial problem than you have a health problem.
Right.
And if we do not address your financial problem, and the only way we can do that is to help you build this as a business to pay for those products that can help your health and other people's, then we have to like take the reins and say, we've got to help people with their finances as a focus, because consumers are going to spend money. But if they don't ever choose to do this as a business, they're never going to make money. And a lot of people will quit on a product that helps them, unfortunately, because they weren't truly helped, or they didn't choose to bring what it takes or to develop what it takes to earn the income to pay for the products or more.
So anyway, that's yeah, I didn't want to just kind of monopolize.
Yeah.
I want to hear from you guys as well, and we also want to recognize the leaderboard. But and also, you guys, it doesn't mean that if you have people that really have health questions, that I'm not going to help you with that. Absolutely, I'm just telling you about Hal and I. Like, I'm not opening questions with people just looking for product users. We've got plenty of product users. There is no question in my mind that our brand outperforms really anything out there. But I'm just not willing to spend my energy on nickel and diming. If somebody's not really looking for a platform, a strategic platform that they can have a little bigger vision. And I think that's really, to me, what Mexico did. I saw the vision again, from people who haven't had the trauma and damage that we in the US have had. 80 people, right, Debbie? 80 people there from the world in Mexico, and only 11 from the United States. I mean, that tells you a little bit. We have the best products in the world, and in the US. Also, if you have connections in the UK, they have access to the US products now. But the US products are the best in the world, and there's no better time than now. And building in our own backyard is really what we're doing. We're committing a lot to Northwest Arkansas. I see Kelly Etzel and Linda Christensen and Linda Painter on this call, and they're our kind of team on the ground floor here. That doesn't mean that you guys that are not in Northwest Arkansas are not on our radar, for sure. But we're going to have to start, kind of starting through Zoom. When we were in, and I want Debbie to kind of weigh in, because she's also, and the Todds, if they can. I want you guys to share just
Debbie's been rocking it, man.
from your trip. And Debbie is she's number one on our team on the leaderboard, which Hal's going to recap here in a minute. But I wanted to just hear from you guys as to, like, just in a nutshell, how that trip changed your perspective. But first, Susan Everett, did you have a question, Susan?
Well, I just wanted to answer your question. And when you ask about the presentation, I said, I think one thing that we forget about is how many people actually have side gigs. Because the more I've started really trying to listen to people, and you'd be amazed at the number of people that have a side gig. But I've also noticed that they don't expect to make much money off of their side gig. It's almost as if they get into it just thinking it's going to, I don't know, help me buy a new pair of shoes or whatever. They don't ever, it doesn't sound to me like they ever get into it really thinking this is going to make me rich. And I think that's one of the differences that you point out in your presentation, is that this can not only be your side gig to help you get out of that whatever problem that you're in, maybe a new car or something, but it can actually do more for you than that. And I think that's significant for us. You know, some of us that maybe go to that point a little more kicking and screaming than you have, that I think it's important for us to remember.
Thank you. Good point, Susan.
Do-
Excellent point.
Do you want Debbie to
Yeah,
speak first?
Debbie Ray,
Can you
well,
give
do
us
you-
just a, did we do the leaderboard?
I'm gonna just pause real quick because we want to recognize several
What's
of
the
you
US
guys.
leaderboard? Number 24, Gavin Walsh out of Indiana. Is that Indiana?
Yeah, that's Christina.
Linda Christensen out of Arkansas. Hey, Linda. I see her on the call.
Number
Kelly Edsel
23.
out of Missouri, number 21.
Way to go, Kelly.
Maribel Torres out of Arkansas, number 19.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Tina Parker out of Arkansas, number 18. Linda Painter out of Arkansas, number 17.
Way to go, Linda Painter.
Beth Plumley out of Arkansas, number 13. It sounds like some people are going to work in Arkansas. Part of this is we made a decision to help our team. I mean, more than like really focused
Yeah.
on this as that strategic partnership. Susan Everett out of Indiana, number 12.
Look at Susan
Steve-
climbing the leaderboard.
Steve and Jenny Todd at number 9 out of Florida.
Leadership, baby.
The Workmeisters coming in at number 8.
Way
here
to go,
toward the end of the month.
Workmeisters.
Christina Durham out of Indiana at number 7, and Debbie Ray out of Nolensville, Tennessee at number 5. And she took a few days to run down to Mexico to have a little trip down there. So she,
Yeah, and let me,
that's 12 out of 25.
Debbie, I have to
15.
tell you, Hal
on the-
called me today. He goes, "What's going on with Debbie Ray,
I
man?"
actually made a point because I popped up another face on Facebook that Debbie's enrolled out of Owensville. I'm like, what is I called Lisa's what's Debbie doing? She said, well, she did go to Mexico. I don't know what she's doing.
She
So
sat by a few people
we'll
on the
ask her
plane.
tonight. Let's ask her.
Okay, Debbie, tell us what's going on.
Well, first of all, the first one I did, she was sitting on the plane going from, where was it now? I guess it was out of Florida, because I came out of Florida, went into Cancun, and we were talking on the plane. Her husband was in front of us, so we just got talking, and I asked her why she was going, and she said they were just going for like a getaway. They were actually going to be there for 9 days. And she asked me what I was going for. And I told her, I said, well, it's actually an incentive trip that I won. And she goes, well, tell me more about that. So we just got talking, and I said, well, would you like me to tap your phone and we could talk after? Turns out she is actually from Nolensville.
Crazy.
So on the shuttle, wouldn't you know, 8 of us are on the shuttle, and guess who's on that shuttle? Was her and her husband. I didn't get a chance to talk to him until the shuttle. And I said, I hear you like coffee. And he goes, yeah. And I said, well, would you like a sample? And I told him a little bit about it. And he said, sure. He says, I'm a real connoisseur on coffee, so I really like your feedback. So she said he's really a stickler on, he doesn't do things out of the realm of things. But she said he was willing to try it. So he didn't try it till he got home. And I still haven't heard back from him. But she took my tap card. I did get in touch with her when she got home. I asked, when you getting home? And we met for coffee, and she said, well, I'm just interested in the product itself. And I said, well, I've taken a different approach, just as Hal said. I introduced the business part of it first. And then from there, I take what they want. And I said, okay. I said, well, let's get you started on product, and then we'll talk some more. But she knew, and I tried to show her the slide. She said, I'm really not interested in the business part. I said, I know, let me just quickly go through it, and then we'll talk about it later if it's something you want to do. And I said, is your husband interested? We can increase your volume of oil. And oh no, he won't touch the stuff. He said, I'm crazy. I said, okay. I said, well, we'll work into the coffee maybe. But so anyway, so she got started. And then I'm trying to think, that was Tony. And then, oh Lord, my head is like flooding. Then a lady that contacted me before I went on the trip, she had texted me and says, hey, you sell HempWorks, right? Because she had seen my probably some of the things I posted. And I said, well, no, I don't. She said, well, I'm really looking for somebody that sells it. And I said, well, can I talk to you more about what I sell? And I can compare to what, so we went through all that. So she's actually, let's see, she was, yeah, she, can't think. Oh, she was the RN. So she wanted to try the product. And I said, well, why don't we just get you started? Told her about the business part of it. She said, well, maybe down the road, but let me try the product first. So I've just changed my focus to starting with the business first and work from there. And then there's no telling they won't go further on after this, but I don't know if it's because we live in Williamson County. It's one of the richest counties in Tennessee. So people are not always looking for the income, even though they should, because their husbands are working. They might not be working, but what happens if he loses his job? So I'm trying to introduce that part into it and to be more independent. You want to do something yourself. Maybe you want to do something. It's your goal. So talking that way. And then my friend comes to me at church today and says, hey, Debbie, remember we talked about the oil? She said, I tried that one that's local store and it didn't do anything for me. My knee really hurts. And I want to get signed up just to try the product first. So she signed up today. this
That's
That's
afternoon.
the one I saw today. I was
that's
like, that's when I called.
fantastic.
So it's just a matter of things coming together. And then I still have one more person I met on the trip on the way back from when I stopped at Houston and flew from there to Nashville. I got sitting next to this lady and we got talking and I said, well, what are you going to Nashville for? Are you going home? And she goes, no, she said, I'm in insurance and I'm actually going for training some people. So I said, okay. She asked me where I was coming from, told her the same thing. And she has blood pressure issues all her life and her family has. So I talked to her a little bit about that, about Jeff being off blood pressure medicine. Why don't we talk when you get back? And I've been texting her, I haven't heard back from her. So I don't know if I'm going to get ghosted, but she also tapped my card. I also took both of their information. And when I take their contact information, I put in my notes how I met them, what they were looking for. You know, maybe it's a health issue, maybe it's not, but I put it in the notes. So when I pull up their contact information, it reminds me because I've been talking to so many people. And instead of just writing it down, it's in my phone. So if they call, I have it right there. And I can, oh, that's right. They, you know, they have 3 kids or whatever. I just put little random notes in there or how I met them. And so that's what I've been doing. And I think why I'm sharing the more of the business part now is because I see the potential now than I did when I first started. I went into it trying to help other people that are going through cancer just like I did. So my initial was just to help people. And if they make money, they make money. Where it was placed at the time, people started dropping out. So I really wasn't making anything. But I think showing people now, if they get signed up for under $1,000, they have the potential of making that back in a month by Bo's plan. So that's really, if I can show people that, and they have the potential of doing that if they're willing and have the focus, then I can show them how to do it if they're willing to do it. So
Fantastic,
that's why
Debbie.
my
I'm so
change
proud of you,
has-
Debbie. That is so. I mean, I really didn't know what was happening. I knew you went to Mexico, but for you to lead tonight and telling this story about the fact that you're leading with business, and I didn't set you up for this, did you?
No way. No, it's all Debbie.
I'm so encouraged. That is so encouraging to hear you say that, and impressed.
You still
With
look
your
tan.
approach. Yeah, you still look tan from here, but so y'all listen to her. This is somebody who's been in the business several years. Her and
one
Jeff.
less than Lisa.
And so,
That's right.
nothing's changed except she's grasped it differently and is sharing it differently. And the result is she's getting VIP customers. But if you start with VIP customers and that's all you do, you're never going to find a business builder. You start with the business and then you get the VIPs or whatever falls in between. So,
Well, as Bo says, you
that's
talk to them,
inspiring.
find out what they want.
Yeah.
And then even though they might start as a VIP, they might initially ended up as a business builder. Obviously, I hope the one that lives in Nolensville does because it's a, close to home team.
Right.
And hopefully that'll work out. If not, I just haven't found my true diamond yet into
Hey.
the business, but it's a start.
Come
And
on,
I think
man.
a lot of it has to do with, just the fact that you have contact with our team, our corporate team. And that helps too. Like before, I didn't have that corporate connection. You had to call customer service, and you get customer service. They're really good at it, but you're not actually talking to Luis or somebody else, Christy. I've had people email me back right away when I ask questions, or they call me. I'd never had that before. So that's encouraging too, that I can tell people we actually have corporate that talk to us.
That's awesome.
That's on that
It's-
slide. Hey, before I forget, before we go to the Todds real quick, who are at the top
Yeah.
of the personal volume board, let me give our team presence on the personal
Yeah.
volume board. So at number 20 is Brett Sauter out of Ohio or Indiana?
He's Ohio.
Ohio.
Mhm.
And then Hal and Lisa at number 17. Who is
Rhonda Hope.
Rhonda Hope out of Indiana
Mhm.
is number 7. Kayla Malone, I saw her name on, yeah, she's on there. At number 6, congratulations, Kayla. And then Blue Angel Medical, which is Dr. Steve and Jenny Todd at number 2 in the United States.
Is Jenny in a closet or something? Jenny, do you want to share anything about the trip, or are you able to?
I can. Steve's in there with the other two, but Deborah just did a fabulous job of. I just love what you had to say, Deborah. You just did a great job conveying what you got to do in this business. But if you don't go to these functions and just meet people, draw from the energy, see new faces. Well, if they can do it, I can do this. The energy that these Latin Americans brought, it was incredible. If you just stay at home and just stare at this computer screen, you are missing out. So just whenever you can go and be around people, love on people, and know that people are doing the same thing that you're doing, I just strongly encourage you for that. But we're so blessed to be on Hal and Lisa's team, y'all. They are amazing. And the one thing last thing I want to leave y'all with is never quit. Never quit. We've had ups and downs and ups and downs and ups and downs, but you just keep on keeping on. It's just a great product, great company, great people that we're around, and I don't want to be doing anything else. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Jenny.
So, and I wanted to shout out tonight to Linda Christensen, who hosted her first Zaliste group meeting at her home. Well, they call it a class. It's Linda
yeah,
Painter's.
it's our
Linda
class,
Painter.
Linda Painter.
That's her team. It's Linda and Kelly Edsel and Linda Christensen and Maribel. If I read the names of the people that were at that meeting the other night, all of our team members that were on, well, not all of them, but everybody was at the meeting the other night that's on that team,
Mhm.
from Linda Christensen, who hosted it, to her, let's see, Kelly wasn't there, but she was working sick. And then Maribel was on there. She's on the leaderboard. Linda Painter, which, by the way, her and Randall made his first presentation. Her husband did the business part the other night, did a great job on that. And really proud of them. They did the full presentation, every bit of it, for the first time as a couple, which we're really super proud of them for that. And we had guests there and good food, except I heard we did miss Kelly's something. What Kelly was? Kelly's
You're going to bring it next
chicken
time.
something, I think. I don't know what it was. Doesn't matter. But anyway, so we're just really proud of our team for getting in there and digging in. And
Hey,
and
I'm
working
not
it.
sure. Linda Christensen, why don't you unmute and just say hi to everybody and tell everybody why Zaliste for you?
Oh, she's not unmuted.
You're muted, girl.
Oh, I got myself unmuted. I had to find that part of the screen. Well, it all began when I just was visiting with Linda and Maribel, actually Linda, and Lisa was talking about some of the benefits, and we have 2 young boys in our family that were really in need of some extra help. And I heard Lisa talk about her son and how the product oh my God, had really made a huge difference in his life. And I just couldn't let that go. I told Kelly, who's my sister, that Lisa had an amazing information to share, and Hal as well. And I just couldn't stand not sharing it with her. And so I wasn't going to join necessarily, although I love a challenge, so I couldn't stay out of it. So anyway, pardon those crazy
Now you're right
glasses,
in the
but
middle of it. Look at you now.
yeah, I know, I know. Well, we've got another sister that lives in New Mexico that we'll have to eventually work on her too. But anyway, I just I just found that it's helping me. I take the glow and the shield, and um, I was so excited about the few people that I've been able to talk to. Um, that's just what got me going that direction. And my sister's doing well, and except for the fact she didn't make it the other night because she's sick, or was sick. So, it's been great. I love the people that are around. I love Lisa and Hal and Linda and Maribel, and of course my sister. So we're gonna make this count.
Awesome.
That's great. Great
Thank you,
attitude.
Linda.
All right.
Well, listen,
Thank you.
we're gonna wrap it up, guys, and let Hal probably has some sports game to go watch. But I'm gonna stick around just if you guys have questions. But I want you guys to know that we really value every single one of you guys, and nobody can set the goals that you really have in this business and in life but you. There's no difference between us and everybody on this call. We all, I think, we're brought together for a reason. If your goal is to make, $100 a month or $100,000, it just doesn't matter. But what I'm saying is now is the time to start the journey. I mean, like, I feel like it's taken us 6+ years to get to this point. We've pioneered for 6+ years. All the pieces are there for us. And my challenge to all of us is to lock arms and start working in your own backyard. And that could be just doing a meet and greet in your own house, in your condo. And I started in my condo in Indiana. There's something that we get from live meetings that we don't get from Zoom. And we're doing maybe 50-50 right now. And I'm just talking about your own personal people. When they see the whites of your eyes, something different happens. And so I want to encourage you guys to do that. Let us know what's going on so that we can help chime in if necessary. We've got a 14-slide opportunity overview now. The business one that I just showed you, I'm more than happy to share. Use it as you need it, but our opportunity presentation that Bo presented is really kind of the official corporate one. And so we believe in you guys, and we're here for whatever goals that you have. And we're excited to be working with you guys. Anything else that you want to add?
No, you did a
Okay.
good job tonight. Good
I
job.
did a good job tonight.
Hey, let me interrupt. We have another meeting on Wednesday at Linda Painter's house in Springdale. So if there's
going?
anybody on the meeting that's close to that area, bring somebody.
Yeah.
Pat
We'll have
Poole.
lots of goodies
There you go.
and
That's
lots
what
of good
Hey, listen,
That's what I'm
camaraderie.
coming for.
So we have a renewed commitment to a weekly meeting in our area. And so, wherever you are, whether there's anybody else there or not, just set it on your calendar. If you're going to be a business builder, I've got a slot in my week that I am going to do this business, not test the products. I'm going to do the business. I'm going to do something that's very specific about expanding my business. And we've made a renewed commitment. And actually, we're actually doing more than one a meeting a week, which is fine. We now have the time. That's part of that money gives us the time freedom that if, we've talked about, if to fund this nonprofit, am I going to have to go back to work or do something different? And I'm like, Lisa, the value of our time, not just for the time that we have together, but to make a larger impact in the world, time, not money, time. Because like today, I got to go meet with a man who needs a place to live coming out of 70 days recovery, and he needs his next phase to live in. I got to go buy his lunch, have an hour lunch with him, have a conversation to see if what we're doing fits. If I was working at Lowe's or selling real estate still, I might have an open house today. I wouldn't have time for that. So the value of time beyond that number that we gave you earlier, because we value our time more than we do even the money that represents, because it's bought for us time. And that's something that I think many people don't really realize, the additional value of a direct selling business, because direct selling, multi-level network marketing business creates an income flow that is residual in nature. There's not any other business other than owning real estate or having a lot of employees that you have to deal with, and a lot more money invested than a network marketing business that is built, not in the beginning, but it has to be built. And once it's built, then it gives time, money, and return.
Cash asset.
Yeah.
Hey, Lorena and Jean, did you guys have a question? I think I might have cut y'all off earlier.
No big deal. That's got it.
No big deal.
There was more important things to be said.
Not at all. Jean, did you have anything?
No, I was good, actually. Thank you.
We
Okay.
actually just had this conversation with our son Isaiah about all of this stuff before. That's why we were almost late.
That's
So,
okay. As long as it was about business, then you're excused.
well, kinda. It's a whole thing.
Value of time.
Yeah. Value of
Well,
time. And,
value of time. I love it. Well,
yeah,
listen,
and people.
I'm gonna
Hey,
stop.
Lisa,
the
just
recording.
wanted to tell you real quick,
Yes.
the Lisa that's an RN that I met that
Yes.
was looking for HempWorks, I did share your ECS slide present, well, your YouTube,
Webinar.
and that was before I left. And she actually contacted me back before I even had a chance to call her. So it does help to show the science part of it for certain people, especially when I don't have the medical background. But I told her we have people on our board, we have people in our team that are medical, that if she needed anything, you know, to help her, convince her that this is good stuff.
Well, I'm so
I
proud of you, Deb.
appreciate that.
Not
I
to
really have had a lot of people love that presentation on the ECS.
well,
So
thank you.
even though I present it to them, it's important it comes back from you as a medical professional.
Well,
But I
it's just,
appreciate that.
it's smart to use the tool and not your time. You know,
Mhm.
I thought that was effective enough to use.
Yeah.
And, we have the PowerPoint for that. If you have a health professional that you really want to walk through it with them, instead of just use the webinar. I've got a meeting with a gastroenterologist that did our colonoscopy on Tuesday.
Oh, really?
Hal doesn't even know it yet. We're Zooming.
I'm the one that prospected him though, right before he did his colonoscopy on me. I really did. We talked about it right there before they doped me up and put me to sleep. But hey, you talk to people everywhere, even somebody who's well, never mind.
You're gonna be a
Never mind.
Never
Don't go
mind. Y'all know what
Getting a little personal there.
little gastro.
y'all know what it is. You can still prospect them.
Anyway, thank you for saying that, Deborah. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the recording. So hold on just 1 minute.